Continuing coverage tonight of a North Las Vegas neighborhood literally sinking into the ground. Neighbors at Windsor Park are demanding a lifeline as homes there are slowly swallowed by unstable earth. And now a lawmaker wants to give them one. A new bill was introduced today in Carson City that would allocate tens of millions of dollars to the people of historic Windsor Park so they can move out and into new homes. Kim Passoff joins us live from the North Las Vegas neighborhood to break it all down. Kim?
Yeah, so it was an emotional meeting today. Lawmakers trying to figure out a solution for what to do with the people who still call this neighborhood home. Some of them moved into Windsor Park here when it was built in the 60s, but it was revealed today that some moved into this sinking neighborhood as recently as 2019.
I'm not playing any games anymore, and I'm tired. And all I want to do is serve families. All I want to do are help these 90 families who are living with asbestos.
Senator Dina Neal says there is something very wrong going on in Windsor Park, and it's not just the sinking land people live on. The houses started to sink in the early 80s, and federal money was set aside for residents to relocate.
Their money was not supposed to be touched. It was supposed to be kept in trust by the city and only used for the movement or the assistance of those families.
Senator Neal says she scrutinized thousands of pages of records to follow the money.
When I checked 8 years of budgets, public budgets, City of North Las Vegas budgets over 8 years from 2015 to 2023, it showed that there had been money expended every year from the Windsor Park budgets.
Senator Neal says it is unclear how the money was spent. She also learned people were allowed to buy homes in the neighborhood that has been sinking for 30 years, as recently as 2019.
They're Latino families that had no idea that the 30-year history, and so some realtor took advantage of them.
As a preliminary matter, please note that currently the city has approximately $2.5 million left in the Windsor Park funds. That amount has been basically unchanged in the last 8 years.
City of North Las Vegas Finance Director William Hardy disputed Neal's findings, saying only $250,000 of Windsor Park funds has been spent since 2015.
They are budgeted numbers. They are not actual expenditures. We can account for every dollar that has been contributed by the feds, by the state, or the city.
Yeah, but Neal says regardless of what was previously allocated for this neighborhood, her bill says that to move those 90 families out that still live here, it's going to take $10 million from the state and $20 million from the city of North Las Vegas. That money would finally get this job done. Reporting live tonight, Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
The bill allows affected residents to exchange their damaged homes for newly built residents adjacent to Windsor Park. Neal says ideally to another location owned by North Las Vegas.